Hey guys, so this is for someone who is an absolute beginner at Linux. So we all begin somewhere and we take the first initial baby steps, but these are very important. If you are operating a Linux machine and if you want to use it for a work or for your own hobby, or you have a Linux desktop, these are the first thing. First thing, you need to know the command man. This one command, man, is the one which will teach you everything. This man stands for manual. So let's say you know about a command called ls, but you don't know what it does. So you can do man ls, and it will show you what it does with all the descriptions. Now let's say you want to know about a command called cat. You say man cat, so it says concatenate files and print on the standard output. So basically this helps you read any file, so and all the details about it, and you just hit q to go back. Now what you do next is, first of all, there are few basic commands like ls. This is basically to know what commands you have, what files you have. Clear will clear the screen. So ls will list all the all the files that you have. And now let's say you have let's say you want to go to another folder. So we do change directory cd. So this is basically, now you are in another folder called dev. Now if you want to come back from it, you just do cd dot dot, you come back from it. Okay, so now the next thing is, you want to know what distro of Linux you want. Distro is distribution. Basically Linux comes in all flavors. So it's the whole overall packaging. The whole os is of the different kinds: ubuntu, centos, red hat, and then fedora, all this stuff. You may have heard of them, but let's say the basic kernel is Linux. The core kernel is Linux, so that's why we call it Linux distribution. So now if you want to know which distribution you are on, which you should, and otherwise you would be worried about which that the fact that you don't even know which distro of Linux you are using. So just use just read this file, slash etc slash os release. Just type it a few times and you will remember. You just do that and you will know that this is red hat. You see. So now again, let me clear the screen for you. So now let me share a few more things which you should be careful of. First of all, with the command rm is remove. But you should be careful about what you're removing. After rm, the file you specify, the file name you specify, will be removed. But if you let's say do rm slash deb, which was just a folder that we got into, it won't work because it's a folder or a directory. So you have to do hyphen r. Hyphen r will recursively go and delete each and every folder inside this folder called deb, and then finally delete this folder called deb. But you should never give rm hyphen r star. Star means all, so it will delete everything. So be careful with it. Okay, so now next thing is, you want to know which distro, which kernel version of Linux you are using. And this is very simple. Just remember this name, uname hyphen r will list out this kernel. And if you go a, it will list out the complete name of this kernel. Okay, so now you can I know this is fast for you if you are new, but you can just pause the video or rewatch it. Okay, so now there are a few more commands which are very basic. First of all, you want to edit a file, create a file. If you want to create a file, you have to do first. Let me go to home. Okay, because I don't want to create in the root directory. Then after that, what you want to do is you want to say touch. If you want to touch, let's say file.txt, it will create a file called file.txt. Now if you want to edit file.txt, you can either use vim file.txt, but vim is for a little more complicated. It's for someone with a higher with a higher degree of complexity. Eventually you should learn vim because this is very powerful, but for now it's better for you if you use nano. So if you were use nano and then file.txt, then this is great. You will be able to write it. Now write anything. This is a file created just now. Now what you want to do is control X and then you want to give Y. The commands that are needed to save and all are written below. You just saw it. So now if you want to read it, you can use cat file.txt. It will read for you. Now let's say you want to rename file.txt to my file.txt. So we don't use any command called rename. We just move it in the same location with a different name. That is the way of renaming things in Linux. So mv is for move. If you specify some other directory, it will move to that from here. But if you specify the same directory but with a different name, it will rename it file.txt. Now you don't have to. I know, like when you use Windows, you're not used to typing and typing so much, and if you get the spelling wrong, it will throw an error. So you have to get the spelling right. But what you can do is you can give tab after a few letters. You can give tab and it will fill the rest. If there are similar two files or three files or more files, it will list them, that which one you want to select. Then you have to write probably a few more few more letters. Then it will then give tab and it will be autofill. Then I want to give file.txt. So see, now if you want to read my file.txt, it is the same file. So this is how we rename things. Now one more thing is, if you want to copy something, let's say copy my file.txt to slash root slash date slash my file.txt, then it will copy to from this location to my file.txt. Now if you don't want to type your name again, because here you can give tab, here if you give tab it won't work because the file isn't there. So you can just give dot. This will work. Now if you copy it again, it is asking, do you want to overwrite it? Yes, because it's basically the same file. Okay, so these are basic things. Now what you also would want to know is how to why what is this sudo. So basically I am a super user right now because I am logged in as root. But if you're not logged in as root, if you're logged in just as a user, then if you want to run some file as administrator, for example in Windows we right click and run as administrator with administrative rights, then you can we right click and click on run as administrator. Instead of that, you can just run any command and do sudo instead of the like before that command. For example, if you want to read something, sudo cat myfile.txt. So you can, although your reading myfile.txt doesn't require administrative privileges, but let's say it was in root directory, not in home directory, and if you were not logged in as root, then you would have to like use sudo. The only other way around is logging in as root directory. Um, how to log in as root directory? You do sudo su. If you do, you're logged in as root directory. I am already logged in as root directory, so you don't see the difference. All right. So now, if you want to reboot your setup, you can just write reboot and enter. It will reboot. So these are the few commands. Sure, and you get hands on a uh, Linux computer, and you just start using it with these run few commands, and slowly you will be like a pro. Thank you.